Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. This is Shekhar Dhongde from SpadeWorx, and welcome to this webinar. We are going to talk about enabling modern business applications in CloudOS. So, just to get us started, I wanted to introduce myself. This is Shekhar Dhongde. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for SpadeWorx, based out of San Francisco Bay Area. Here are my email and Twitter handle to connect with us. And I'll definitely look forward to interesting conversation today. Just to give you a quick brief about SpadeWorx. SpadeWorx is a young software services company started in 2006, and we have been progressively growing over past few years. With specifically focusing on social workplace solutions, we're passionate about employee engagement in enterprise IT and corporations. How do you drive more innovation and more productivity by delivering rich and engaging user experience for the applications and productivity tools that employees use every day? Uh, Cloud and mobile applications are going hand in hand today when it comes to encouraging and engaging employees in today's any enterprise organization. Uh, we are Microsoft partners and have been chosen one of the very few business critical SharePoint partners last year, and we're very proud about those recognitions from Microsoft. And today we are Microsoft's Azure Circle program partner, where we are delivering a lot of solutions to our customers in small and medium sector as well as in enterprise uh, on embracing the cloud and how the next generation modern applications are emerging. So SpadeWorks Cloud Vision essentially is complemented with what Microsoft's Cloud Vision is, and we're very proud to be associated with Microsoft, and it kind of reinforces how we are looking at delivering to our customers, specifically driving the benefits of cost support and scalability by delivering consulting and solution development, especially on the emerging needs and modern applications leveraging Microsoft Azure platform. So maximize the returns, but how do we minimize the risk for our customers? That has been our motto while delivering Microsoft solutions. Just to get a perspective on how the Microsoft Cloud OS is emerging, it's essentially standing on the four pillars. As an enterprise IT, as an SMB IT, what you're looking at is first transforming the data center, and mostly the it's all about the infrastructure, which is managing the infrastructure. And today most of the IT organizations are spending their time in how do they optimally manage their IT infrastructure, trying to consolidate servers, virtualize the servers to significantly reduce costs and create some room for further expansion. But I think really what the IT and enterprise IT need to look at is essentially transforming the data center by bringing automation. And it's not about just managing servers, but also managing the pooled resources of compute, networking, storage, so that a data center can be delivered as a shared service to the business. So that's an emerging theme that we see across the customers, and it pretty much in line with how the Microsoft's cloud vision is. The second important point is unlocking the insights on any data. While business intelligence has been there for a long time, the lot of IT efforts in last decade or two has been focused on getting the enterprise applications in place. A lot of structured data and analytics on top of it that has been addressed. But as the new technologies and every employee is leaving the digital footprint, the web, the unstructured content and unstructured data in the organizations is also increasing, and it's increasing at a rapid pace. So the needs are emerging in terms of how do you marry, if you will, the structured data in your enterprise systems with unstructured data that is also coming in from social web employees, even when we are your customers, and how do you unlock some of the insights from this data. So that's another very, very important element in all the corporations that is emerging. uh, Empowering people-centric IT. As we all know, devices proliferation amongst your employees, among customers, amongst partners is huge. It's not only different devices or different OSs, different form factors that are coming in and kind of storming into any IT setup, and that's one of the important needs. And how do you effectively manage these devices apart from your laptops and desktops and tablets and cell phones? That is where solutions like Windows Intune that are coming into picture, and that's another dimension of how Microsoft is looking at empowering people-centric IT. And the lastly, enabling modern business applications. I think this is the topic that we are going to cover today, and we will have an opportunity to look at some of the examples of how few of our customers have chosen to enable modern business applications on top of their existing applications infrastructure. It's Given the .NET stack today, especially in the Microsoft CloudOS vision, it's very essential and possible that you can code once and deploy onto any kinds of devices with different form factors and technologies, and bring in the flavors of social and BI into the applications itself. So that's how the Microsoft sees the Cloud OS vision here. Just to reinforce the point, I mean, 20 billion smart devices will be powering the overall workforce by 2016. That's our prediction. The data is rapidly growing, and there is going to be about 210 billion estimated cloud services spending by 2016. Explosive growth, as essentially what we are driving here, is this explosive growth is taking place, and these changes in the user behaviors, these changes in the employee behaviors, and not only that, but even your customers and partners behaviors and choices of technologies they are making, it is calling for an every IT organization to adopt a modern approach while servicing their IT needs. So this rapid evolution is driven by uh, set of how your existing applications are making a change. So you have set of applications that have been there in the organization. Um, Lots of different types of devices are coming in, and there is a constant push or demand from the stakeholders to have these applications delivered onto the different kinds of devices that are coming into the organization. It's also calling for an enormous growth in the data, and how that data that can be leveraged, used, and consumed by this multitude of devices that are coming into the organization, and make those cloud enabled so that anywhere, anytime, this data can be consumed. So these are the demands that are there on any IT organization, and it's a rapid cycle. It's an evolving cycle. It's not that every time a new technology is coming into picture, you are going to uh, transform your entire existing applications or replace. But there are approaches in terms of how do you protect these investments and still ensure that you meet the needs of these new generation and the new business demands that are coming in. So one of the approaches that most of the IT organizations have followed is that uh, focus on application consolidation or application rationalization, especially your tier two applications, as we call in an enterprise setup. But if you look into future next 3 years, I think where the majority of the effort is going to be is on this uh, enhanced functionalities that are acquired from the legacy applications. Not only just consolidate and reduce the cost, but rather what enhanced functionalities that you want to extract from some of your legacy applications. And I think that's where the focus is shifting, and this is what we call an evolution that is underway vis-a-vis application rationalization or application consolidation initiatives that many of you might have run in the past. So, so how are you going to embrace this revolution? Of course, one of the choices is always available option is do nothing and just stay put. But I think that's not definitely a competitive advantage, and that is not going to be very beneficial for your future growth, whether your employee growth, whether your business growth. Overall, do nothing isn't really a great option. Next is start from scratch. Get completely onto the cloud. Get started with move everything into the cloud. Embrace completely new technologies and new applications. Not to also to mention that, which means you bring in new skills in your organization and also change the entire landscape of your existing IT infrastructure, whether applications or the core infrastructure. And lastly, I think the more prudent approach, as we see, is to embrace the cloud uh, by bridging your current enterprise status as well, and marrying it with the competitive advantage provided by the cloud solutions at your own pace, which is more important, so that you bring your teams, bring the heterogeneous environments closer to cloud by adopting the set of traditional products and services and tools, and also enable these traditional applications to meet the new demands by embracing the cloud services that are on top of it. So that's where we see a prudent approach for most of the enterprise IT is going to be. So as you get onto thinking about adopting into the cloud, what are the uh, dilemmas, or rather, I should call it the paradigm shifts that are taking place here? Are when you are in an on-premise model, which is most of the IT organizations would have been and are familiar with, there you have full control over infrastructure, and this is a very important term. Control is in the point of view from even from a people point of view and as well as tools and process point of view. You have complete control over the infrastructure that you have. uh, this calls for an upfront investments, and those are the cycles that every time there is a new infrastructure needs, you go through the budgets and approval cycles and capital expenditure and so on. Other important aspect in an on-premise thinking is that you always plan your capacity with peak in mind. So it's not necessarily that you always need the peak load where your infrastructure need to support, but whether there is a cyclical or seasonal peaks that you are expecting on on your environment, you tend to size your capacity or build your capacity and infrastructure to address the peak volumes that you're going to face. There could be yearly update cycles, refresh cycles that you need to take care of. And more importantly, um, this is all from a financial management point of view, is all about capital expenditure. As you start looking at in cloud, there are certain shifts in thinking that you're looking at. Your focus needs to move from managing applications and not infrastructure, which is a significant change in terms of an IT philosophy within your organization. Pay as you go. That is, it's not that you're planning an upfront investment, rather, you are looking at a pay as you go model. You're scaling elastically, you're not building it for the peak, you're building it to get yourself started and scale elastically as your demands grow or a specific seasonal fluctuations or needs that you have. You only address it at that point of time and only pay for what you used during that period. That provides an enormous opportunity in terms of how you manage your expenditure efficiently. uh, whether it is update cycles are monthly or as and when that are there. And obviously, uh, you move more towards an OPEX model, shifting your lot of capital expenditure in more into an operational expenditure, going through the subscription models in cloud, whether it is for your infrastructure or platform or even applications that you are going to get into. So while this is true, uh, when you also start getting into the cloud discussions and conversations, listening to a lot of our customers have provided very interesting perspectives on what is coming in, and wanted to share a few of those thoughts here. Um, it's real that we're not looking at entire lift and shift model. It is going to be an hybrid scenarios that enterprise IT will need to manage. What it drives is that now you were focused on managing your own data center, managing your own infrastructure. Now you need to add on top of it some of the cloud infrastructures that you're going to manage. So there are multi-cloud portfolios, if you will, that your administrators, your infrastructure directors, your infrastructure teams will be looking at. There will be questions around in terms of how the network usage and latency associated with that. If I shift everything into cloud, how is it going to impact on my network? How is it going to impact my users in terms of the latency? Those are the questions that most of the customers have. Uh, then provisioning, deprovisioning, metering, these are process related questions around in terms of how are you going to do that? Are there any effective mechanisms? What solutions the cloud service providers offer in terms of very transparent way of provisioning, deprovisioning, and metering the services that you are consuming? Another interesting questions coming in are cost allocations. Today, due to the consumerization of IT, a lot of people, a lot of your business counterparts are getting used to whether they are using an online CRM software or they're using a storage software, whether it is Dynamics CRM, whether it is Salesforce CRM. They're kind of getting into the tone of, okay, I pay only for what I'm using. Versus when it comes to the IT services that are delivered internally, they are kind of some fixed cost allocations. So, how do the businesses have started asking IT, how do you give me cost allocations based on what we as a business unit are consuming? Very, very interesting shifts, especially in mid to large size organizations that we are seeing. And there are solutions coming out on how do you charge your business unit internally to what they are consuming. So those are topics. Um, More importantly, there are people management or people changes that are also required. The traditional IT management versus internal emerging trends that are there. ITSM has been the philosophy as the guiding principle in many cases while you structured and organized your IT around. You have an infrastructure towers, infrastructure setups, and you have within that, whether it is desktop, laptop, antivirus, firewall, network, storage, kind of virtual silos that were there, and the handoffs between these teams while managing your IT. So that's one of the ways of how you look at an ITSM today versus the DevOps models that are emerging today, especially very, very well embraced with the new generation technology companies, where they are looking at a very close collaboration between and diminishing the lines between infrastructure operations, applications operations, and applications development, and so on. Software development methodologies, whether to follow waterfall versus agile. So these are some of the questions in front of the leadership teams on how they are going to manage this change. And then, as I mentioned earlier, IT costs, fixed allocations, of how the IT costs are charged back to the business versus the consumption driven. So, what businesses are consuming, accordingly, the IT costs are being cross charged to them. So, these are uh, some of the emerging needs at a very high level from a management perspective, from an executive decision making perspective, that are emerging in the organizations. So, while these are the important topics that you need to look into, that you need to think through while doing this, there are certain approaches that you can take on how you get started. So, what are the paths to the cloud? So, first, I would like to cover in terms of how the small medium businesses have taken that approach. You start off with email and get onto your Exchange Online. This is where Office 365 comes into play, and that gives you the first flavor in terms of moving to cloud. Your email is in the cloud in Exchange. You don't have to worry about managing your Exchange mailboxes and everything. That kind of is moved into Office 365, and the storage needs are taken care of. The updates and upgrades and patches that are required are taken care of. So that is moving into full suite of what is called as an E3 plan, where you get into your overall Office 365 is a second step. And then for the small medium businesses, document storage is another need, and not only document storage, but also extending these documents to their partners, whether they're trading partners, suppliers, customers, and so on. There is an efficient way with OneDrive for Business within Office 365 that you get. Um, uh, and it provides the level of transparency that you need to enforce while you are sharing content outside of your organization, as well as provides the consumer technologies like storage solutions for your employees. Uh, at a fraction of a cost, you are getting significant benefits here. And that's one path that some of the uh, customers that have been taking. We had an opportunity to see even very large corporations are quick to move into the Office 365, given that it takes out the significant management overhead on managing your Office applications, Office suite, and providing employees the value that they're essentially looking at. Significantly importantly, because of the multitude of devices that each of your employees are using. So this is one path. When it comes to the larger enterprise situations, there are multiple ways how cloud adoption is taking place. So here are some of the workloads that we have seen, and I would articulate few more that we are seeing based on our customer interactions. One, as I call it, a low resistance to get into the cloud OS is it start with your test and development. Especially in a mid-size IT firm, if you are launching a new application development project, you are certainly spending fair amount of time in terms of planning for the infrastructure, whether you are virtualizing the servers or you are launching new servers. You're definitely spending time in terms of sizing the servers with the procurement of servers if required, for your development and test environment at the initial phase. And then by the time your application development projects are through, then you need to also look at readiness of the production environment. Now, this is where one of the very low barrier, low entry to barrier, I would say, to start off with your test and development environment. Get your test and development environment set up in the cloud. Give your developers the access to the environment and get them started quickly. You don't have to even wait for weeks, forget months to get this infrastructure size. You can launch it uh, uh, within a day, uh, to be precise, and get your development work started and spend more time on give more time for your developers to get the work done versus waiting for the infrastructure provisioning. The second aspect that we have seen is that one of the workloads within enterprises is that SharePoint. For example, you have your intranet where your employees are collaborating. They need to have access to your intranet based on where they are working, on what device they are using during their interactions. So, in a way, SharePoint is your system of interaction, if you will, and that can be provisioned as an infrastructure as a service within Windows Azure, Microsoft Azure. You leverage the Active Directory integration of your enterprise, and so that it is kind of set up as your private cloud. So it is accessible only to your employees. All the security compliance policies are enforced, and you can get this workload quickly moving. So those are that is another scenario. Don't want to kind of go through each one of those, but I'm sure you get the gist of it. There are certain situations where you want to carry out some of the business intelligence workloads on your existing data, existing applications, some of the data that is residing in your enterprise, but possibly you do not have the compute capacity to manage those loads efficiently. You can leverage Windows Azure for that, and moving some of those business intelligence kind of workloads into the cloud, get the data there, carry out the analytics, and bring in back the results. Um, Cloud integrated storage is another very important part that is coming in, and I would like to add a further comment to this. While we do a lot of at SpadeWorx, we have been doing a lot of work with our large customers in SharePoint, and we have seen that video content in organizations is increasing, and I think we can relate this with our habits that have been changing over last few years, that you search for a video these days than searching for a blog post or an article. Rather, you would prefer to look at a video, a 3 minute or 2 minute video, to get what you're looking for. The same habits are coming into the enterprise with the various collaboration technologies, like we are conducting and go to webinar here that can be recorded and then shared with a wider audience or with a larger audience. Same is true within your IT department, that when you are carrying out requirement sessions with your business or working with your development partners across the globe, across different geographies, you can record these sessions, whether it is brainstorming sessions, whether it is idea sessions, whether it is requirement specification sessions, or even some of the training sessions. And with the multitude of devices in the hands of employees, the video content in organizations is growing. So it makes a natural sense that instead of investing on streaming servers and then waiting for the downloads, uploads, and also the network efficiency associated with it, one of the options you have is to leverage cloud storage, cloud integrated storage on Windows Azure. And that way you can better manage some such content that is growing in the organization. You can provision it to the audience that you're looking at. The employees can consume on any device, leveraging the media services, built-in media services in Windows Azure, and it's much more efficient for your entire organization. So that is definitely something that we see a lot, and there are lots of different solutions that are coming in, especially to cater to such needs. So, taking it forward, our topic today is how do you enable some of these modern business applications, and what is the so far what we have discussed. You get a perspective on what do we mean by these modern business applications. It's needs to reach on any device, whether it is as a strategy we call it cloud first, mobile first, but I think in reality every enterprise has this need, that you need your applications to reach on any device. uh, and you have lots of legacy applications and lots of applications that have been there. They do provide the business value that they are looking for. What might be missing in this context is how do they reach the different types of devices that are coming in. Of course, then you need to get into delivering that mission critical performance that you need to deliver when you make it available on the any device, and then this is how you can extend it into the cloud to meet those demands, so that you develop the future iterations of these applications faster. So to reach any device as a topic, I mean, why you want to do that? What are the important considerations that you need to meet here? So one is important aspect is deliver the best experience to any user on any device, and this is where the natural um, choices that you have, and that's what the Microsoft Azure platform provides you, is to build HTML5, build everything in HTML5 as much as possible, so that you have built it once, irrespective of the device or the consumption device that is being used, the experiences can be delivered. There are underlying unified services infrastructures that helps you reach to all your customers, and then these functionalities are delivered with familiar tools that your IT setup has been using for long, whether it is Visual Studio, in Microsoft, the .NET Stack for development, which comes handy when it comes to access to the right skills to build these applications and deliver it. So that's the benefit here it provides. Uh, just to summarize, you have all the layers which are covered with very, very familiar tools that you use, not only the Microsoft stack, but there are scenarios where in Azure you can use non-Microsoft platforms as well and still enable the solutions on top of Windows Azure. Integrated development solution provides a significant benefit to you, a from your skill set point of view within IT and or your partners, and expand on that to deliver these new capabilities. Um, so let me jump to a quick case study on how we did this for one of the logistics companies. The objective was that eliminate the paper processes that were existing, that can help not only reduce paper, but more importantly, provide all the information right in time uh, as it happens, provide the visibility and transparency into the overall process. So it was a logistics transportation kind of company. They What we did was that we built a mobile applications for their trucking solutions and operators that can reduce the paperwork from their pickup points to their drop-off points, and that not only helped eliminate some of the waste activities in the process point of view, but also helped drive some additional benefits in terms of load optimization and route optimization for the company. So essentially, in a Windows Azure backend, you are leveraging with your enterprise systems. So what that has the important elements of information that is sitting there, that is extracted, and the appropriate information that needs to be delivered at the point of interaction, as I call it, with your truckers and drivers. They can fill in those forms. They can fill in the important information, and based on the overall activities that are taking place, they can be communicated back to what are their next stops are going to be, where there is a potential of a route optimization and deliver maximum value to their end customers. That is what was achieved. Obviously, by leveraging Windows Azure Cloud, it was efficient in terms of provisioning of this infrastructure. There was no wait time to get this infrastructure provisioned. Rather, more focus was on building the application and delivering the application to the end users where they were having the interactions. So um, uh, uh, another case study here is about talent management, succession planning. So one of the very large CPG companies approached us to provide a perspective on how an executive level succession planning needs to be done. Being a very large corporation, it was important for them to have um, how the executives are looking at the succession planning as an activity, but this is also a very, very confidential element and a sensitive element in an organization from an HR processes point of view. But also, the consumption of this information is with the very senior executives, where the attention span is very limited. So that is a challenge when you are delivering tablet-based solutions for such executives. So so we came up with an user experience aspect of it on how a collaborative environment can be done, and provided a rich tablet-based solution where they can see their entire organization, what we call as a in the form of a digital talent uh, uh, tiles or digital talent walls that you can get to see within in your tablet, and look at how your executives are coming to speed for their next roles, or what is missing, what are the elements that you need to deliver to them, are there trainings that are required, are there different assignments, whether in different geography, different function, a different discipline that is required for your executives to make them ready for the next role. So this was this was received very, very well. It obviously had interactions with various other systems of record that you have in your organization, whether you are using talent management solutions like SuccessFactors, Talio, your HR MS systems that you have, and provide that information, and the people information in a very rich user experience onto these tablet devices for the executives to consume. It helped innovate faster. It helped building these solutions also faster because we leveraged the Windows Azure mobile services for this, and everything was hosted into the Azure cloud, so that the infrastructure provisioning wasn't even a topic of discussion. It was very easy to get started and scale as the demands kept increasing. Another examples of how customers are looking at adopting hybrid solutions, or in some cases a mix of cloud and on premise, is um, there are companies where they have a field sales force, whether in the form of their own employees or in the form of franchisee networks. They are contributing end of the day to the business of the corporation, and many times there are a lot of paper processes involved in terms of interviewing the customer, capturing the requirements of the customer, possibly even capturing some questionnaires that you need to capture from the customer before you can provide a proposal to them. So here we helped build a mobile application where the entire quote to proposal, if you will, a process is kind of streamlined, and more importantly, the time to respond to customers is dramatically reduced. So your representative is visiting a customer and capturing the information from the customer, and he or she submits it, whatever devices they are carrying with the customer meeting. By the time they are out from the meeting, the the nicely formatted, professionally formatted proposal, including your pricing, your pricing schemes, your customer details, everything from your backend systems, and is available to be sent out to the customer. So very, very, very important achievement here, because initially when the customer meets with the sales rep of yours, it was taking maybe weeks for them to get back with the proposal. Now it was within a few hours after the meeting, and the proposal is sent out to the customers. Significant benefit for the company. So uh, So coming back to some of the next aspects in terms of how do you deliver mission critical performance here, this is where the benefits of Azure come in handy. There are in-memory transaction processing benefits that you get in terms of building the hybrid cloud platforms. Marrying your on-premise and in the cloud capabilities in terms of compute, in terms of storage, in terms of processing power. You are able to leverage best of the both worlds, what you have and how you can get these new capabilities in the cloud. Um, so uh, the other benefits are in terms of discovering the data, discovering the information that is residing into to uh, various silos within your organization, but more importantly, a lot of information that is available in the web. These opportunities are kind of opened up now. Your enterprise information that you have and marrying it or relating it with some of the web information that is out there can drive significant insights to what is happening in your organization. Just to drive a case in point, I mean, here an example is about how a Dow Industrial Average data you can map it to some of your corporate information or your transactional information and make insights into it. In some cases, it could be how your territory and geography performance based on the whether it is Bing Maps or Google Maps APIs that you can manage and find out. Think about it that your salespeople, whoever are traveling, they have based on the location that they are in, they know which is the nearest customer that is there, what was the revenue in the last quarter from that customer, are there any kind of issues with that customer, and quickly they can act on it. Significant benefit that is out there than just keeping on going through lots of Excel data. So those are the solutions that many customers are thinking out today on how they can deliver those to their employees or customers by leveraging the cloud services. So, in a nutshell, to extend to the cloud, what you're achieving is accelerating your time to market. Obviously, you are in a position to achieve the efficiencies in terms of cost than going for an upfront investment. Rather, you can quickly get started, provide incremental capabilities, and keep on building onto those capabilities elastically, and so on. Also, you can keep on paying for what you have only used. And this is an incremental approach to innovation in terms of not by replacing your existing investments, but rather leveraging on those existing investments in your infrastructure and applications and extending it to meet the new capabilities that the cloud services are offering. So, um, I think to summarize this, you are provisioned with the platforms that you are open to. You can use Windows platform, you can use Linux platform for building your new capabilities in these applications. Your team, your IT developers, your partners are used to some of the development with their languages, with their frameworks, .NET, Java, PHP, C Sharp, Ruby, Python. You can use all of this. It's not restricted to a specific choice of technology or specific choice of platform, and that's the significant benefit in the entire Microsoft Azure stack that you have. And obviously the multiple databases and content management systems that you have it handy, that you can keep on building on top of it the specific business solutions that you need. Of course, I think we have driven the point of economics significantly. Yes, it's a significant shift in paradigm. It's a significant shift in how the IT investments and spend have been looked at. You are moving from capital expenditure to more of an operational expenditure. You're moving into the model of pay as you go. But at the same time, you have complete control over the how you are spending it, and there is a very very transparent process and predictability on your spend. So that's a significant benefit when you are going into it. Um, so there was another couple of case studies that I would like to share today here. How to extend the cloud with knowledge lifecycle management and some of the business intelligence and enterprise mobility. So one of the large pharmaceutical companies, we had an opportunity to deploy a knowledge management solution. And this was more looked upon as a centralized document repository, but providing a very, very structured and repeatable process on how the knowledge and the programs that are run in the organization, and not necessarily just retaining the knowledge in those programs, but also making those repeatable, so that irrespective of the change in the personnel and the people who are running the programs, there is a structured process behind the scenes that achieves a consistency in how you execute various such knowledge management initiatives or programs in the corporation. So a stage gate process is introduced into it, and not only that, it does help in terms of how the information within the enterprise can be searched, can be accessed, what kind of capabilities in terms of new documents, new processes that can be introduced seamlessly, and also the corporate wide processes like stage gate and approval processes that you need, not only from a process standpoint, but also some of these processes are required because of the compliance needs, in especially in the life sciences industry. uh, those are kind of achieved. Not only that, by the choice of technologies used here, you are also equipped if eventually you need to move all of this or extend some of these capabilities to the cloud. You can do that very efficiently and seamlessly. Um, Similarly, one of the uh, another large company were looking at business intelligence for HR. Now, what does business intelligence for HR means, right? It's not about just managing the talent, but it also about, especially for globally distributed corporations, how are you managing your workforce? How are you seeing your attrition trends? How are you seeing your whether diversity and inclusion trends that are there in the organization, and that helps you take certain decisions, and it also helps you a better visualization of the information. What I mean by that is, while the solution stack is very, very simple in terms of leveraging your existing investments and extending it to the mobile devices and other devices in the cloud, leveraging the cloud technologies, you can map out your entire workforce map by geography, and understanding how the changes are taking place in the workforce, in the skills, in the attrition, in the diversity and inclusion kind of aspects. Are there different regions that are performing better or worse vis-a-vis other regions and other units in your organization? All that information which is there in some form of fashion in your enterprise systems, but just it it making it available onto different channels of consumption like devices, and making more sense out of it by providing the rich experiences on top of that data is a significant benefit. It's a significant value add that you can achieve with minimal investments and minimal spend by leveraging cloud services. So that's an example that I'm talking about. So um, uh, from developing faster applications, I think we got that message that this is how, with the entire infrastructure platform stack that you get, and on top of it, the mobile services, the data services, the media services that are available in the Microsoft Azure stack. It can adapt to any IT operation scenarios. It can adapt to any development styles, development organizations that you have set up, and it does help you enable your modern enterprise. So that's the benefit of getting into this rapid application development cycle. Um, of course, not that I want to do too much of the technical talk around the Visual Studio here, but of course, it does support the various methodologies that you want to go. Whether you want to go in an agile, you want to continue with your waterfall methodologies, if you're following your Scrum cycles, uh, all of that can be very well adopted into this model, and continue to get most out of your application development cycles. So that's the benefit, and that's the message that I'm trying to drive here. So I think we recommend, let's get started. Your first step to get yourself started on this journey is simply get yourself acclimatized with Azure. You can go to www.azure.microsoft.com and get your trial started. That will give you a very good perspective in terms of what it offers, how you can provision, deprovision your infrastructure, how you can add applications on top of it, how you can build your virtual networks, launch your virtual machines, and also integrate your Active Directory, on-premise Active Directory into Azure Cloud, and create a kind of a seamless experience for your end users. They won't even know whether you are shifting from your internal data center into an Azure data center. Do write us back at information@spadeworx.com, or I've shared my email address as well, and we'll be happy to get into the conversation, identify what kind of use cases that can drive some of the business benefits for you, and that is more important. What is more important in these conversations is what the business benefits that you as an organization, you as a functional owner can get, and that's where the real value resides. Where we can contribute is giving the perspectives on how some of the other customers are doing it, and how we can possibly provide that incremental value in your business processes. So our passionate team of Azure specialists and cloud specialists will be happy to get into those conversations and see what we can collectively achieve. So that is where my last thing will be. Just get started on your cloud journey. That is definitely the future. Mobile devices and devices with different form factors are definitely changing the needs and demands on the IT, and you have an opportunity to lead the way. So this is where you can get your journey started. Thank you again. Just a quick note on why SpadeWorx. We are certainly, as I mentioned, a very young and energetic startup in that sense, that provides the value we are passionate about, how to make our customers successful. User-centered approach has been one of our differentiators, because the very purpose of or foundation of finding and starting this young company was to provide rich user experiences in enterprise applications that are coming in, and this is where we are leveraging Microsoft Cloud, Azure Cloud, to provide that experience. Thank you again. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you got some insights into how you can start your CloudOS cloud adoption journey, and we will be happy to assist you in whatever form and fashion. Looking forward to hear back from you. In case there are any questions, do put it into the questions window on your GoToWebinar, and I'll be happy to take those. All right, so we have no questions. So thank you very much again. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.